Okay, penalty for false start. Okay, so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up a uh, AI taxi to takeoff scenario. I've already got a few set up for this mission. However, I'm going to go ahead and add some more. Um, what it's going to entail is having your stationary aircraft already set up. It's pretty simple. You can set the skin. The skin's not going to matter for the actual flight because the skin will change based on the flight when you set it. So this is just the skin set for um, the parked aircraft. As soon as an AI jumps into it, however, the skin will change to whatever you've specified. So let's say, for instance, that I want to take a flight of two BF-109 G6s on a patrol mission toward the front out here. Okay, and I want that to happen. I don't know, let's say 20 minutes into or 30 minutes into the game, we'll have, or 35 minutes or something, we'll have them take off and head out and do a patrol. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. Let's start with go ahead and making the AI flight. So find your aircraft and gotta go down to the BF-109s. G6 late. Now you want to make sure that you choose the same plane as the parked aircraft. I don't know if you choose a different aircraft how it will affect it, but it would just make sense to choose the same type of aircraft as the parked one. Now, so what we need to do is we need to figure out your squadron and regiment. So we're just going to go ahead and say it's JG5. I don't know the significance of all the flights, but we'll make it the first flight of the first squadron. We'll give them 75% fuel, and we'll make it 2 aircraft. Okay, so the first waypoint we want to set to takeoff, and that waypoint is going to go find the closest airstrip. You want to bring that back to where you want that to be. Okay, so now it's really important where you place that first waypoint. So when we have all the waypoints set up to taxi, we also have to designate the aircraft. So if I designate this as plane 1, you click on the plane, you click the spawn point, you set it, and then you click on the aircraft. You got to find the sweet spot there. And then we're going to click on plane 2 and then set it as well. Hang on, move this out of the way. Set that there. Okay, so we've got that done. We're going to want to go ahead and set the skin so that it matches, because I don't think they match. Maybe they do. I don't know. Hang on. Let's find the skin. It's set to default here, so we'll just leave it as default. So going back to the waypoint for the aircraft, the important thing here is this first waypoint that we set is going to be the point, the turn point. So unfortunately, they're not going to pull out of their parking spot and go to like the taxi line and then take a right-hand turn, and then this one pulls straight out and then takes a right-hand turn. They're actually going to go to this first point. So it's going to be weird if you have a really long line of aircraft, because they're all going to converge, not at the same time. The number 1 aircraft will go, number 2 aircraft will go, but they run over this first waypoint first. So you need to be real smart about how you place that. There may be a better way to do this, but this is, as far as I've figured out, the best way to do this so far. So what we're going to do is, we've got the aircraft set, we have the first waypoint. We do need to go to the waypoint options and change it from takeoff type normal to takeoff type taxi to takeoff. I haven't experimented with the other ones, but this is the way we need to do it. Now, what you do from this point is you just make additional taxi to takeoff waypoints, and they're automatically going to default to taxi to takeoff. So that's how you're going to make the taxi line, essentially. So we'll have them taxi here, and then here. We'll have them go around this JU52, and then we just set up the taxi points, taxi line. So we'll have these taxi here, and then here, 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 here. We want to get them onto the runway. Then we want to have another taxi point to get them centered. And then the next point that you do is going to be their fly point. So we'll have them take off. So now if this is their next fly point, I'm still trying to figure this out, but these two need to line up to get them to take off, the last two taxi to take off waypoints. As long as these are lined up straight on the runway, he'll take off straight, as far as I can tell so far. Even if you're first, and like I said, I have to do more experimentation, even if your first actual normal fly waypoint, so we changed that last one, this one we changed to normal fly, even if this last one is over here, I still think the aircraft are going to take off here and then circle around to their first waypoint. Like I said, that needs more experimentation, but that's how I'm doing it, and it's working well so far. So we have them taking off. The rest of this is pretty simple. You probably, if you've used the mission editor, you know how to do all this. So I'm going to just go ahead and set up some basics real quick. So I'm going to set them at 220 knots outbound at, I don't know, 6,000 feet. And just have them go do a patrol. So we'll have them fly out here, have them do a patrol like here. We'll make that the patrol waypoint. We'll give them 20 cycles, default timeout of 30 minutes, and then another waypoint there, and then one back here, and we'll make that waypoint at 1,000 meters, so like 3,000 feet. And then we'll make the last one and landing point here. Now the landing point is going to be the end that they land on, I believe. So once they land, they'll taxi to parking, and that's done. Now here's the important stuff. If we're in a dogfight server, now you said you want to do this in a co-op, so this may not pertain to you, but so that you know for when you're setting this up for a dogfight, if you have these set up as spawn points for a dogfight server, you could potentially spawn into this aircraft. If you have like a delayed start set for this aircraft, you could potentially spawn into this aircraft and drive it away before this flight actually spawns. If you do drive it away, an aircraft will spawn in its place. However, if you take that aircraft and you're sitting on the tarmac just when this flight gets activated, and you've even just spawned into that spot, another airplane will spawn into that spot with you for the AI, and you will crash into each other. So either, if you know that could happen, spawn in and get out of the way if you think it's close to their spawn time, or what you can do if you have them set at a delayed start, like let's say we wanted to start this at the time of the mission is at 10 o'clock. So we want to, let's say, a 35-minute delayed start. If we did that, the aircraft will be available to spawn in for 35 minutes and afterward. But at 35 minutes, whether or not there's a plane in that spot, a plane will appear there for the AI to take. If you don't want these two spots available to spawn into for that 35 minutes, what you do is you set it at the right start of the mission. So if you do nothing else, as soon as this mission starts, these planes are going to start to taxi to take off. What you do, however, to reserve those, is you put a 35-minute delay in here. That will keep the aircraft from being usable for 35 minutes, and they will just sit on the tarmac until that time comes. So that's kind of the basics of how you do it. What I'm going to do, though, is set this back to 0 so that you can see how this works. I'll go ahead and watch it and show you. Give me just a moment. Okay, so we're going to exit real quick. We're going to create a server and we're going to try it. quick get into the... Alright, so here they go. Engines are starting up. This would be 35-minute delayed if I set it up that way. That JU-52's going too. I forgot about that. He's supposed to be delayed as well. Hopefully they don't run into each other. They should taxi accordingly though, so let's watch. My fear, though, is that these are too close to other AI objects to actually start moving. My parking spot might be too close to that airplane. You can see it's kind of rolling, but it's like waiting for an obstacle to get out of the way. Might be me. Hang on. I'll try it a different way. There they go. So yeah, because I spawned into that airplane over there, they didn't want to go because I was too close to him. So he's moving. His buddy's going to taxi out here in a second. You can set up their spacing as well. It's set to 20 meters. So not sure why the other guy's not going. It's a finicky process. There he goes. So like I said, it's pretty simple to do. I think the concepts are the same between dogfight and co-op servers. With the co-op servers, you don't really need to worry about that process that I was showing about reserving your spawn points because, quite frankly, you don't have a second chance to spawn. So. Who got run into? Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's too close to the airplane somehow. So, but it's a good idea to test a lot of this stuff. So we'll watch him take off. And make sure that his takeoff waypoint was right. Okay, so the JU-52 is lining up. See if he's lined up straight. I used the same process to set him up. There he goes. Looks like he's rolling straight. Looks like they're taxiing at like 60 miles an hour though. That I'd never seen before. That was strange. And there he goes. I'll go in there and I'll play with this a little bit more, but yeah, that's the process. Hope that helped.